Bizarre Brain Comics. Okie dokie. Hello and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and then examine the stories and the art. There we go. What I want to look at here is this little book right here from Marvel Comics, 1978. Tales to Astonish #3, featuring Namor, the Sub-Mariner. And this is a reprint from the Sub-Mariner #3 from 1968. So let's see what the Big Book of Knowledge has to say about this one. Tales to Astonish #3. As I think I said 1978. I think it said 1979 there. As reprinted from the Sub-Mariner #3, 1968. Written by Roy Thomas, drawn by John Buscema, with inks by Frank Giacomo. And Subby, of course, he is a legacy character from the Golden Age, created by Bill Everett at Timely Comics in the early 40s. And shortly before... time codes. Shortly before the better-known Aquaman first appeared at National or DC. And the Sub-Mariner is Namor, which is Roman spelled backwards. Is a prince of the sunken city of Atlantis, son of an Atlantean princess, and a sailor from the surface. During World War II, he fought the Axis powers alongside Captain America and the Human Torch, among others, as a member of the Invaders. Then he was out of action and out of print. He was out of action for years and rediscovered by Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four. He was in a homeless shelter, and for some reason he had amnesia. He was deprived of his memory until Torch, burning all his facial hair and head hair down so you can actually see him, recognized him as the Sub-Mariner. And he dumped him in the ocean, and his memories and his memories and his powers immediately returned, and he was an instant enemy of the surface world. He even attacked New York with using some kind of conch shell, and called some huge behemoth monster from the depths to attack New York until the Fantastic Four destroyed it with an atomic bomb in its gut, and the Thing got to play Jonah. Anyway, but he has been an enemy of mankind, teaming up with the likes of Doctor Doom at times. And because he sees mankind, the surface people, as having attacked his ocean realm, as well as an ally to mankind upon occasion, along with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, and he's even been a member of the Avengers, as well as the Defenders, against common foes. I did a Sub-Mariner episode. I think it was about a year ago. That was because it was drawn by Bill Everett, his creator, and that was. Had some really nice artwork in there, but that story takes place after this story, a long time afterwards. And one of the reasons to do the Sub-Mariner now, other than just because I like the character, is of course the new Black Panther movie coming out, introducing the Sub-Mariner. They're having problems between Wakanda and Atlantis. Of course, it's not called Atlantis. Instead of like the Submariner of the comics, he is derived from Greco-Roman background, and even down to his name, which is Roman spelled backwards. And here they have probably, to get away from further confusion between Aquaman and the Submariner, changed him to be derived from Mesoamerican background. That is the Mayans, Incas, Toltecs, and that sort. From the stills that previews that I've seen, has some marvelous costuming in that. So let us go join the Submariner in a little adventure. Okay, here you can get a better look at that cover, drawn by John Buscema. Okay, and remember this, of course, this is from '68, so this is just a couple of years after John Buscema came back to comics after doing several years in advertising. But yeah, see, I've talked about John Buscema before, primarily when we talked about the drawing comics the Marvel way, or however the hell the title was that, with all the artwork by John Buscema. And I've talked about him before, but I'll give you a little bit about him now. So John Buscema was from 1927 to 2002. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. He had a strong interest in art since childhood, loving the comic strips by the greats Hal Foster and Alex Raymond and Milton Caniff, just like everybody else from that time period was. He wanted to be a boxer, and he trained at a gym near Madison Square Garden. But after training, he would often sit down and do sketches and the like of the fighters as they were training. And eventually, he was being paid to do portraits of the fighters, and found he could make more money from his art than by fighting. And it's a lot easier on his fists and his face, I'm sure. He attended the High School of Art and Design and the Pratt Institute. He did a few gag cartoons, painted murals and signs, etc. Then in '48, he got hired on staff at Timely, Marvel, for a couple of years. So they kind of got rid of all their staff people, and everything was freelance. Shortly after, he was drafted into the Army for Korea, but he was released after only 5 months because of a pre-existing health condition. Then he got into advertising work up until '66, when Stan Lee wooed him back to comics, where he worked on all the long underwear set, but found his greatest recognition doing Conan the Barbarian as well as Tarzan at Marvel. That's just a brief overview of John Buscema. So I'll try to quickly go through here. Here's a splash page. And Namor is already a prisoner. Storyline from the previous issue, along with the inhuman Triton, who's also an aquatic being. And they had been tricked into fighting one another, as is wont to happen all the time. And this is their villain of the day is Plant Man. I don't know anything about him. So they're encased in these capsules. They're trapped, can't move. And on the big screen there, you can see Plant Man is has done stuff and some engineering and controlling of plants. You got these huge plant things attacking London, causing destruction. See, look how great that is. Horrifying, but I mean, artistically great. And this is some kind of stuff that John Buscema is so well known for. Look at the poses and the expressions and stuff he has as Plant Man soliloquizes, and he needs someone to go to the British government, and he says, tells Namor, I'll let you live if you'll be an errand boy for me. And of course that only really pisses Namor off, and he says no, he won't do it. And Triton's the same thing. So okay, well, I'll send you to your death. And here they're teleported. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Looks like something out of Doctor Strange. Whoop, whoop, whoop. To another part of this vessel that they're on. All these other little weird creatures of planty things. And they're basically handcuffed together by this energy gizmo. And they can't get apart. And Triton is in worse shape than Namor. He's been away from the water too long, and so is Namor, but he is more resilient. And here is the guy. He's got this other gizmo. He's got this big gizmo, and he's going to attack London with this really big plant thing, and its big, huge monster forms to attack the city. And it's supposed to be a coral monster. Now, apparently, Roy Thomas did not realize at the time that coral is not a plant. It's an animal. So we're just going to ignore the coral part. It's just some kind of plant monster. And zaps it and grows humongous and gets more humongous and attacks London. Meanwhile, here they are, our heroes bound together, and realize that the oxygen is diminishing in the room, in the chamber that they're imprisoned with all these plant thingies. It says these plants must be using up the oxygen instead of releasing oxygen as normal plants do, as it are engineered to. So they're going to suffocate. Well, one of the creatures is a big old cactus thing, and Namor, as he's dragging Triton behind him, just they're succulent. They have a lot of watery fluid in these. And this plant thing is just shooting these darts at him to no avail because of his tough hide. He smashes through the thing. They get and so they get soaked with the succulent juices of the cactus, and it helps restore their strength. They bust through the wall and confront the Plant Man. Just some great artwork here. And of course, John Buscema is great at his visual storytelling, panel-to-panel continuity, and the like. And of course, his marvelous action scenes. They bust out, they get free, but they're still trapped together. And since, of course, Namor with his itty-bitty wings, I don't know how he flies with those itty-bitty wings on his ankle, let alone all the stuff he does here. So, just a comic book logic. So he drags Triton along, and they attack the plant monster, even causing more crashing, and it's just too big and too strong for them. So, after a little ad, here it's getting ready to attack Buckingham Palace, and everyone, the British guards and etc. So we've got to get the Queen to safety, yada yada yada, and it gets Namor gets this huge anchor. I don't know why he gets such a huge anchor, but he got this huge anchor, and he's flying that with great difficulty, and drops it on the plant creature. Well, it does some good. Now it's two smaller plant creatures. So I don't know what we're going to do. Then we get a scene change, and it's because the Atlanteans have been going off somewhere else, trying to find a better refuge because they always think that they're under attack. I don't understand. Anyway, and this is the Lady Dorma, who is Namor's betrothed. And she says, "Where is he? Where is he?" Because he's been exiled for some reason. And they have to find him and help him and all this other stuff. But they said, "No, we've got to think of the Atlantean people are all in all these ships going someplace." And here, a little thing that Roy Thomas must have been reading Lynn Carter's Thongor and like that, because a few years later he did an adaptation of Thongor for the comics. Because here they have these guards talking amongst one another, and one of them's name is Thongor. And Thongor is the sword and sorcery fantasy character in the vein of Conan the Barbarian. So here they are. They say, "This is where Namor is," and he's fighting. Oh, it's the expression in her face and everything. And then the determination. "Oh, we've got to go help him. We've got to go help him, but we can't. We've got to think of the Atlantean people." Very well. Oh. And meanwhile, Namor and Triton, they're kind of trying to corral the monsters with fire which is broken out from all the destruction of the ship on the in the city. And of course, this is a weird looking beastie because you don't ever see any detail. It's just all beastyish. Corralling it, getting the two beasts to smash into each other, and then they fight and destroy each other. And meanwhile, there's other havoc going on and then they get this huge whatever it is piece of equipment and really toss it down on the beastie. Boy, they got more damn commercials. And no, it destroys the beastie, destroys the monster. Plant Man has decided to himself, no. Okay, look at the great expression, the physical expression and the facial expression and the gestures and stuff. Some of the stuff that John Buscema was just so known for. And so he has to get away. He gets away and to come back another day. And if the thing that was keep maintaining them, their handcuff was tied to the monster which they destroyed. And that once it was destroyed, that was destroyed too. So here they made up. They're friends. Pledge their friendship to one another, and Namor must be off trying to find his Atlantean people, and says, "If you need help, let us know, and let me know, and the Inhumans. We will be allies with you as long as you do not try to harm the Fantastic Four and the Inhumans, etc., because they're close friends." So he's off again, and then. Dun dun dun! Atuma attacks the Atlanteans. Nuff said. Yeah, that was a fun romp. Lots of action. Even if it wasn't most of it wasn't directed directly at the villain. Has some great John Buscema artwork in here. He was so good at that kind of stuff. And I saw an old interview with him just recently. And he was saying he didn't care that much about comics per se. It was just a job. And he enjoyed illustrating. And it's the storytelling that he liked. But he didn't care, and especially didn't care for the superheroes. He wasn't interested in the superheroes at all. But he did like doing Conan the Barbarian. He said he wished he could have, in another interview, he said he wished he could have had more time to do more and better research on weapons and costumes and settings and the like for Conan the Barbarian. So it would have looked even better, but he just didn't have the time to invest in that. to do it. So that's all I've got for you this time with the Sub-Mariner from the Silver Age. And thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. And remember, comics are art. Imperious Rex!